This is chapter 5, lesson 4, create an image map. And that actually happens to take place on your Stripe umbrella on the activities page. And what we're making here is a hotspot. Now, hotspots are really cool because they allow you to just mouse over something and actually click, namely an image. I actually looked around on Jake's website here. He already is past that point where he replaces the website with CSS styles, so he's got erased. So I'm going to actually have to go with one that I create myself. Basically, the idea is that you're going to put in an image. So in this case here, I'm just going to pull my assets panel. I don't know why I don't have it there, but anyways, assets panel. One of the images that I have is going to be on this. Actually, I don't have it on my website. I'm gonna go fetch it then. I'm gonna put the banner on your website. Is going to be on the banner. I'm gonna pull it from the data files here. Sun, Dreamweaver CS5, data files. This is chapter 5 in the assets. I'm going to be putting the SU banner. So let's see. Okay, so I'm going to skip this. But anyways, once I have a banner on the page, and I'll preview this on a browser, I mouse over here, there's nothing going on. If you look at my mouse pointer, it does not change at any given point. To add a hotspot, you have to have the image selected. It's very important to have to click on the image, see the sizing handles here, and on your property inspector, you should see this lower area here with the hotspot tools. There are 3 of them. Okay, one is this rectangle hotspot tool. The other one is the circle or ellipse hotspot tool, and the other one is the polygon hotspot tool. They all do the same thing. They all create a hotspot. If I click on the rectangle one, which is the one that you're going to be using for Stripe umbrella, I think you were told to create a hotspot over the words Stripe umbrella. So make sure you're displaying it. With the rectangle hotspot tool selected, you're going to click and drag a marquee around the area in which you want to make a hotspot, and you let go. When you let go, you get a dialog box saying that, hey, you can name this hotspot. And whatever you name this is what's gonna be pulling up on a tooltip when people mouse over. Click OK. You can name this instead of map. I want to name is I think they call it home on your exercise. You're gonna notice that the information that you have on the property inspector when hotspot is actually selected is very similar to any of the links that you have on the website. The link field starts with a pound sign, which is a placeholder, but you can actually link that to something. And in this case, I think they told you to link it to the index.html, which is the home page. You can also use this point to file tool, or you can use the browse for file button. Okay? Now you know how to use these 2 things, which means that you can actually use the hotspot to link to a named anchor as well. Okay, so because you have this point to file thing here. One thing that we never really talked about too much was these options that you have under target. Under target, if you choose the underscore blank, it's going to open this in a whole new window. I'm sorry, on a blank new window. I think the difference between blank and new is when you actually happen to be using frames. Most people don't use those anymore because now we have tabbed browsing and that kind of stuff. So all this stuff, mostly blank and new, chances are, depending on how your browser is configured, is going to open either a new tab on your browser or a new window of your browser. Okay? Parent, self, and top. They are for if you're designing your page using frames, which is kind of an obsolete way of designing web pages. So most times people don't use parent, self, and top anymore. Okay, so by default, if you don't do anything, I think it takes the default behavior of your browser when you're actually clicking on a link. Sometimes it's useful to use blank or new because you want to open a new window or a new tab and leave your website open for people to be able to come back to, so they can easily go back to your website. Okay? So I'm not gonna put anything. Alt obviously is alternate text, so which means that you can actually. I'm sorry, I misspoke when I said that whatever you put on the ID field here is what shows up on a tooltip, because you also have the alt field here, which is actually what's going to display on the field on a tooltip. So anyways, I made this hotspot. I linked it to index.html. I'll save this page. I'll go to my browser and I'll refresh this page here. And now I have a tooltip which is over the stripe umbrella. So I can mouse over this. Right now it's all normal. When I mouse over to the hotspot, it becomes a little hand, which then I can click, and it takes me to my index page, which I don't have an index page on my website. That's why I have a broken link. But let me show you then. I'm going to erase this hotspot and actually show you how to use the polygon one, because the polygon one I think is very interesting. The polygon tool polygon hotspot tool allows you to actually create a shape. If I wanted to make this green umbrella a hotspot, instead of putting a rectangle on top of it or a circle on top of it, I could actually click. Oh, actually, the second click was not a good one. I'm going to start over. Click, 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 click. So you see that now I actually can create a more custom shape for my hotspot. Okay? The trick about this hotspot is that the more points you have, the more anchor points you have when you're generating this hotspot, the bigger the file size is going to be. It's going to increase your HTML file size, but not by much. Okay? So if you look in your book on page 5-27, on figure 25, you're going to see that one example that you will have for using a polygon tool to draw a hotspot will be to possibly use that over an image of a map of the continental United States. You could actually draw out each state and make each state a different hotspot for a different link. So when you're mouse overing one state, you can actually click on that and it'll take you to a page specific, or maybe a named anchor that is specific to that state. Okay, so you can use hotspot for the end. Any questions on hotspots? You will also be expected to have a hotspot on your personal site. No questions? All right, let's get to work.